why he was calling that a close. He cited legal reasons, but certainly no other response from the council. You can see that video for yourself right now at lbc.co.uk. Just finally, Nick, many people will be asking, where are we now then with the situation? We're no further forward than we were 24 hours ago, and survivors campaigners now really intensifying their campaign for answers.
LBC's Conor Gillis reporting. Thank you for that. 7:24. Let's hear from the council here, the latter of the two councillors. The first is Councillor Patrick Brown, who is the leader, is certainly facing fresh calls that he should. Councillor Robert Atkinson is Labour councillor for Nottingdale Ward, which crucially includes Grenfell Tower, joins me now. Councillor, if you will allow that survivors and families of the victims are in a very, very tense time at the moment, how will yesterday's events hit strike them? Good morning to you.
Good morning. I think it made it infinitely worse, and it is insulting to my residents and to the victims of this tragedy that the council has still failed to speak to them, has not answered any of the questions that people have, and as was demonstrated last night, just shows no capacity whatsoever to take a grasp of the situation.
Everybody knows that one factor jeopardizing on-time delivery is vehicle breakdowns. A key causal factor for vehicle breakdowns is failure to change the oil. So, to mitigate that risk, you'd create an SLA for vehicle operations to change the oil every 5,000 miles. Obviously enjoying himself, he keeps explaining. Our organizational key performance indicator, KPI, is on-time delivery. So to achieve it, you would create a new forward-looking KPI of, say, the percentage of vehicles that have had their required oil changes performed. After all, if only 50% of our vehicles are complying with the required maintenance policies, it's a good bet that in the near future, our on-time delivery KPIs are going to take a dive when trucks start getting stranded on the side of the road, along with all the packages they're carrying. People think that just because IT doesn't use motor oil and carry physical packages, that it doesn't need preventative maintenance, Eric says, chuckling to himself. That somehow, because the work and the cargo that IT carries are invisible, you just need to sprinkle more magic dust on the computers to get them running again. Metaphors like oil changes help people make that connection. Preventative oil changes and vehicle maintenance policies are like preventative vendor patches and change management policies. By showing how IT risks jeopardize business performance measures, you can start making better business decisions. Okay, one last thing before I go, he says. Make sure John fulfills his mission. He must talk with the finance side of the SOX 404 audit team. He must learn exactly how the business managed to dodge the last audit bullet and what the actual control environment looks like and where reliance is really placed. And he must then explain it to you. You'll be ready for your meeting with Dick when you've built out the value chains, linking his objectives to how IT jeopardizes it, assembling concrete examples of how IT issues have jeopardized those goals in the past. Make sure you're prepared. And with that, he says, in fact, feel free to invite me to that meeting. I want to see Dick's face when you present what you learn. And he hangs up the phone. Chapter 26, Friday, October 17th. When Patty enters the conference room, she gasps loudly when she sees John's transformed appearance. Oh my God, John! You look fantastic! Surprisingly, when Wes arrives, he doesn't seem to notice anything different. When everyone is here, I quickly share what I had learned from Eric. We decide that Patty and I will start the business process owner interviews for understanding customer needs and wants, product portfolio, time to market, and sales pipeline, while John will research the business SOX 404 control environment, as directed by Eric. It's Friday, and we're scheduled to interview Ron Johnson, the VP of Manufacturing Sales. I worked with him years ago as part of the acquisition integration project, and I'm surprised he's in town. He's usually out and about, traveling the world, helping to negotiate deals and save troubled accounts. He has a well-deserved reputation as one of the most fun people in the company to travel with. The size of his expense reports proves it. Patty and I are sitting in front of his desk in Building 2. As we listen to him bellow at his colleagues on a conference call, I look at the many pictures of him on the wall, on golf courses, with his top salespeople in exotic locales from decades of president's clubs, and shaking hands with customers. In the corner is a fake potted tree, completely covered with hundreds of conference badges and lanyards. This is definitely the office of someone who loves being in front of people. He's a large, gregarious guy with an even larger laugh. Over many scotches with him one evening in Chicago, I was surprised to learn that much of his demeanor is a carefully crafted persona. While he's outwardly very loud and outspoken, he's actually an introvert by nature, very analytic and passionate about sales discipline. Hearing him chastise yet another person on the phone, I think about how odd it is that even a discipline like sales, known for its chaotic and unpredictable nature, is more predictable than IT. There's at least a predictable funnel that comes from marketing campaigns, generating prospects, leads, qualified leads, and sales opportunities that leads to a sales pipeline. One salesperson missing their number rarely jeopardizes the entire department. On the other hand, any of my engineers can get me fired by making a seemingly small, harmless change that results in a crippling, enterprise-wide outage. Ron slams down the phone. Sorry, guys. Despite all the training I do, sometimes my team behaves like a bunch of wild animals, he says, still exasperated. He rips the stapled document he's holding in two and then tosses it into his trash can. Oh man, Ron, I can't help but say. Your recycling bin is right next to you. I'll be dead long before the landfills are full, he says with a large laugh. He may be dead soon, but my kids won't be. As I explain to him why we're here, I reach under the desk to grab the papers from the wastebasket, putting them in the recycling bin. You're listed as the owner of the sales pipeline and sales forecast accuracy measures on Dick's spreadsheet. What can you tell me about the challenges of hitting those numbers? Look, I don't know much about IT. Someone on my staff might be better for you to talk to, he responds. Don't worry, I'm not asking about anything IT related. Let's just talk about your measures, I assure him. Okay, it's your nickel, he says. If you want to talk about sales forecast accuracy, you first need to know why it's so inaccurate. It starts when Steve and Dick hand me a crazy revenue target, leaving me to figure out how to deliver on it. For years, I've had to assign away too much quota capacity to my team. So of course, we keep missing our numbers. I tell Steve and Dick this year after year, but they don't listen. Probably because they're having some arbitrary revenue target jammed down their throats by the board. It's a crappy way to run a company. It demoralizes my team, and my top performers are quitting in droves. Of course, we'll replace them, but it takes at least a year for replacements to perform at full quota capacity. Even in this lousy economy, it takes too long to find qualified salespeople. You know what chips my hide? He continues. Sarah promised that acquiring the retail stores would accelerate our sales. And has it happened? Hell no. We're completely screwing up the execution. This morning, a district manager was screaming that they need truckloads of our new fuel injector kits because all his stores are completely stocked out. We're losing the easiest sales we can make. Our customers want to buy, but they're walking out empty-handed, probably buying something crappier from one of our competitors. Ron says angrily. We are clueless about what our customers want. We have too much product that will never sell, and never enough of the ones that do. His words sounding familiar, I look down at Dick's slide again. You're saying that sales forecast accuracy is being jeopardized by our poor grasp of understanding our customer needs and wants, and that if we know what products were out of stock in the stores, we could increase sales? You got it, he says. With the traffic we get in the stores, that's the fastest and easiest way to increase revenue. It's It's a lot easier than dealing with the fickle whims of our large automotive buyers, that's for sure. I make a note to myself to find out how stockout data are generated, and I see Patty furiously taking notes as well. I ask Ron about the sales pipeline process and its challenges, and I get an earful. He tells us at length how difficult it is for his managers to get the reports they need out of our customer relationship management system, CRM, and the endless battle to make sure his entire sales force uses it in their daily work. But the floodgates really open when I ask him what a bad day for him looks like. A bad day, he repeats, staring at me disapprovingly. Why, Bill? It's positively catastrophic when the MRP and phone systems that you manage go down like they did a few weeks ago. For just the MRP outage, we had customers screaming about delayed orders, and 2 of them canceled $250,000 of orders outright. We're scrambling to keep some of our best customers from putting $1.5 million of contracts up for rebid